Oh, hold on. Alright, there we go. I had to do some other stuff. Yo, camera one. Goon camera one. I just turned 18. I'm not starting an OnlyFans. Yo, what's up, like? Hello. I think the chat works. I don't think it does though. I don't know how much time most of you got. It's gonna be a little long, not too long though. But really turned 18 and started an OnlyFans. You're so old, oh my god. I'm not old. Alright, the chat is not working. The chat is supposed to be like right here. If it doesn't work, I'm Kirkut. Okay, fuck you, first of all. Alright. Ignore the old ass music, there's a reason for it. It's just kinda like nostalgia that I get myself. Y'all can hear the music either way. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, I'm putting it on. There you go. You're gonna hear like old ass music. Like from. It should work now. Yeah, of course you're here now. I fucking plug. It's OBS is confusing. Okay, give me a second. I'm waiting for people who just don't have put themselves on red on Discord, so they don't get the notifications when the things, you know. I think like mostly the people who don't get notifications from that shit. Alright, I'll explain in a second. Focus! There you go. I hate this camera. I hate the... Fuck you, camera. I know some of y'all like fucking confused as shit. Like, why the fuck did you like make a stream that is called Rewind? No, it's not copyright. There's from copyright. No copyright sound. They're like really old company or music playlist, whatever. I don't even know what they are. Yeah, this is old. Copy guns. Alright. How do I start this? Welcome, first of all. Just gonna move you guys over here. Hold on. That's just 2020. Welcome! It's random music that is not focus. It's random non-copyrighted music. I'm not adding any music. It's just a playlist that I found that is non-copyrighted. Stop focusing on my hands. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not. No, not on the table. I'm just gonna. All right. Let me check my notes because I had to make notes for this. All right. First of all, I want to warn the people who are in here. I don't know if there's like a lot. I want to warn about like topics. You know, like SA, suicide, and other topics that I can't even really mention here, but they're really sensitive. So if you get triggered by like specific themes like that in that style, you can like, I would recommend you the moment I mention that there's something coming, to leave the stream and then, you know, join later in a few minutes. I won't really be talking too much in depth about those parts because there's a people who actually like, you know, get offended or, you know, feel shit when hearing stuff like that. So I'm gonna just be talking short about them. I won't, you know. Now, to what the fuck this stream is. I've been doing YouTube for like not too long, right? Oh, you can't see the chat. Why the fuck is it moving? Oh, it is. Ah, it's like right there. Oh, because it's pressing that. Okay. The chat looks shit. Whatever. Alright. The first thing I'm gonna like mention is first of all, I think there's like two people that are not people that know. For those who know me, you guys know me, I'm Clinics, you know, I've been doing YouTube for a while. Really shitty YouTube though, like not as like a career or like anything serious or anything like that, just kind of like a hobby. But I feel like this whole stream is for mental health awareness and mental health purpose and all that stuff. I wanted to do this ever since I turned like, I think I was like 16, 15. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do a stream where I talk about my life, where I basically, well, I'm basically gonna be doing that. Um, this, as I said, there's gonna be, sensitive topics. There's gonna be like, well, not too much information about me, but it's basically just gonna be about me. Um, the whole reason for the stream is to, um, like, I'm not even gonna raise money. It's more like just to make people aware that they're not alone. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna start off with the first topic. I am. How do you mention this? All right, I'm just gonna start. Okay, I'm just gonna start. Hi, I'm Clinics. Okay. Um, I was born in Mexico. Okay, I grew up in Mexico. I had friends there, had family. I still have family there. Um, and it's kind of like fun. It was cool, right? While it lasted, of course. Um, there I used to live in this little town. It was like a really secure town because Mexico's really safe to be in like a random out city town. It's like off city, like a little utopia. I don't even know what to call it. I used to live there. Um, and basically I've been, uh, I lived there, I don't know what to say. I did have a friend there. My best friend actually at the time. His name was Carlitos. I'm gonna be saying names, not the full names. I don't think you can really do much with the information. Um, but I had a friend. His name was Carlitos. He lived like two houses away from me, and we would hang out. And ever since I was younger, right, I always saw videos on YouTube. Right, I got my tablet. I think my first tablet I got it like around 6 years old or 5 years old. Um, which I feel like I wish my parents didn't, because then I wouldn't be ending up looking like this, acting like this, and doing this. But some things I'm happy about. Some things I'm not. But what can I say? I got a tablet at a young age, and from there on it just went to shit. But whatever. Um, I'm gonna put the camera here. Actually, here. So I went to school, right? School was great. There was this one guy that was kind of like always, there. He was always annoying. He was always really mean to me. The reason why I don't know still to this day. He used to call me a lot of names. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I used to have the worst haircut at the time. Still do to this day, but whatever. I'm more confident about it than back then, but whatever. Um, so I grew up in Mexico, and when I turned 7, on my 7th birthday, I was told that we were moving from Mexico to Germany. Um, at first I was like really sad, and still to this day kind of am, but it has its ups and downs, obviously. So my mom sits me down with me and my brothers, and I think she talks to us about like moving out to Germany because our dad got a job over there, a job that actually pays really well, and apparently it's really well over there. And well, my dad decided to take the decision, and we moved to Germany. I have finished first grade and went to second grade, but before I could even start the second grade, we moved to Germany. It was really hard for me to adapt to this place, especially because I was the more aware person out of my siblings. Because my little brother, I think he was like 3, 4. I don't even know. And my middle brother, I think he was like 5, 6 while I was 7. So we moved over here really young. They did. I was aware already. I already knew Spanish and shit like that. Um, but when I moved over here, it was really hard to even adapt. For the first few years, for the first few months actually, before I got into my first school, it was really weird. Like I was homesick, let's just call it that. Um, but it was okay. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna like fucking cry myself to sleep all day. No, it was like I cried. I was afraid. I was afraid of change. I didn't know what was going on. I was 7. I didn't know what it meant. Like, are we gonna stay here forever? Are we gonna are we gonna like move to another place? Are we gonna go back to Mexico? We didn't know that either at the time. I think so. Um, when I moved to Germany, hold on. Yeah, when I moved to Germany, I got into my first school, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. You know what I mean? When I got into my first school, I didn't have really much sense of German besides the basics because my mom had put us in German classes before we moved over here to Germany. Um, to kind of get the basics to understand what people are talking to us because they could be shit talking to me right now and I wouldn't know what they're saying. Um, so when we moved there and when I got into my first school, um, it it was it was depressing. Um, because because for me, I talked to my teacher in Spanish, and she always would go like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I thought she understood me. Apparently, she didn't understand me. That really broke my heart. But at some point, I learned to German. I learned the German. Um, I learned to talk German. I started making new friends, and I think until like end of first grade, I already knew like the basic of German. Um, so I could talk to friends. I could talk to people in my class. Um, and I made a friend. His name was Milo. Uh, for those who know, no, it's not the Milo who was the other Milo. It was a really old Milo. I got really along with him. We met up, we hung out and stuff like that. Back in the day, I got an Xbox when I was like 11. I think I got my Xbox in like second grade or third grade. So at some point he came over to my house to play Minecraft or anything on the Xbox. Hello, soy entertainment. Hello. I don't know who you are, but you're welcome to the stream. So when I moved here, as I said, got into school, blah blah blah, made friends, learned German, made a friend, got an Xbox, and that's when like that's when everything takes a turn. Like everything just changes completely. Because I was a rejected. I got rejected socially everywhere. Oh, hello, Phantom. I got socially rejected everywhere. Nobody liked me besides my one friend, and I kind of tried, hanging out with them and stuff like that. Hi, kid. Hello. I tried hanging out with him a lot. And it was great. It was like a really good friend of mine. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be friends with this guy forever. Love you too, bro. Um, so I was like, dude, like this, I'm being rejected. Like I'm nobody. Basically a nobody. I'm just someone in class that goes to class, gets bullied, and then just goes back home and gets bullied again. Um, like the next day, not the same day. So, here's where the whole thing comes in. I went into depression, at like the age of 11, 12, and I didn't have many friends, and the ones that I had, I feel like I annoyed them all the time. That's when my whole thing started happening, where I was afraid of losing my only friend, and I was afraid. Mostly afraid because he was like basically the only one who really kind of had the same sense of humor, same we liked the same games. I was a weird kid. I liked creepypastas, I liked horror stuff, I liked Sonic.exe, I liked all that stuff. I was the weird kid in class. And um, as time went on, I started focus. Hello, thank you. So, I, mm, my eyes are burning. My bad. So, what does a kid that gets rejected IRL socially do? It relies on the internet, and that's basically what I did. I wish I didn't, but I had no other choice. I had nobody. I had nobody. So I started playing more games. Um, I I still had my tablet and I still had my, you know, Xbox. So what I decided to do is started doing videos on my phone. I tried getting my brothers involved sometimes. They did want to sometimes. The other times they were like not there because either I wanted to do the videos alone or it wasn't possible. I don't know. Um, and uh, after a time, I found out about Discord. This was in 2018 when I joined Discord. I remember it because it says it on my Discord account. I still have the same Discord account. Um, I got that Discord account and I started socializing online because, as I said, I was rejected on IRL, so I, relied on the internet. Worst thing, if anyone is going through, as I said at the start of the stream, this is to, it's for mental health awareness. So if you're feeling rejected, being online or being chronically online can help you, but it's like drugs. Like it will help you for a while, then it's just gonna start making your life worse. Just saying that. Um, kind of can't go back and not be on the internet. I kind of just adapted to the internet and to me being on the internet and on Discord and TikTok and stuff like that. So once you're there, you can't get out, or at least I've tried. Um, and well, basically, I started going on the internet. I started talking to people on Discord servers. I would join Discord servers, and I would pretend to be Sonic.exe. Yeah, I was one of those kids. I was one of the really cringy ones. So every time I nowadays see someone do the same thing, I kind of like, I find it cringe, but I also kind of like understand it in a way because I, went through the same thing. I'll still bully the shit out of them. I don't care. So, I relied on Discord. I made friends on Discord. I had friends there and stuff like that. And then one day I was on a game on the Xbox, and low key was just chilling. I was just hanging out. I was, I don't know how to explain this. I was playing a game and I met this guy. This guy was really cool. He was like, I think at the time when I was like 13, he was like 2 years older, 3 years older. So he was like around 15, 16, something like that. So, but basically what happened is I became friends with him. We became really good friends. We fucking became friends like this. He was Mexican, so it was really good for me to keep my Spanish. And sometimes we talked English or German. I would talk to him in German and bully him in German as a joke because he didn't understand German. He was from the same city that I used to live in. And we became friends, as I said. This guy's name is Sino. I was playing Garden of Warfare 2, I think it was. I think it was Garden of Warfare 2. Yeah, it was Garden of Warfare 2. I had that game and I loved it. I played it all the time. I tried getting the golden one, the fire and the toxic pea shooter at the time. I did end up getting the pea shooter. The toxic one was so good. Oh, it's such a good plan. I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm getting sidetracked. So what happened afterwards? We became really good friends. I played everything with him. I would get bullied at school. My routine would be this: I would go to school, get bullied, come back home, play video games, play with him, and then at some point I think he got Discord. And we just hung out there. Now here's a little sensitive topic if some of y'all go through abuse at home or stuff like that. His parents weren't really the nicest people, and I knew that because I would hear it through the mic. We would be on calls, and he would randomly just get screamed at, and I'd be like, okay, well maybe he did something wrong, maybe it was justified, but most of the time it was just them being drunk. And ever since I've grown like a hatred and for like the alcoholics that are really aggressive. So every time I see an alcoholic, I'm like I drink alcohol. I do drink alcohol. Not as much, but I do drink alcohol. Um, and not to like get drunk on purpose. Yes, I've done it sometimes, but I learned from that, and I was like, it doesn't. It's not cool. Let me just say that it's not cool. It's not to have fun because you don't have fun with that. Like if you hang out with a friend and they tell you that they want to go out and drink, and you tell them not to drink, and they ask you if like, what do you do for fun? Anything else that is not getting drunk. Like I don't know what to tell you. So I grew a hate towards alcoholics. Um, this was 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. Focus. 2020 came along. 2019, 2020. Corona kicked in. Not the greatest time of my life. It was really devastating. It hit a lot of people. I'm guessing it wasn't probably just me. Online schooling started going on. I became worst at math. I was actually okay-ish at mathematics, not as bad, but I wasn't good either. So learning math and learning stuff like that online was really hard because sometimes I would just fall asleep on call, and it wouldn't help me. Like online classes were just useless. Corona kind of isolated me, and I came into my depression phase. I went into depression, like for the first time, like hard depression, and it wasn't. Thank you. It wasn't nice. It wasn't really good. Because I started feeling that the isolation, like me isolating myself in my own room and not hanging out a lot and being on my phone and tablet and all that stuff and on my Xbox playing just that, kind of just took me away from, let's just call it freedom, happiness. I don't even know what to call it. So time went on, right? I still was friends with Milo, kinda, not really. I got into a new school when Corona happened. I was already in a new class. I think it was in fifth, sixth, seventh grade that Corona happened. So I never experienced like trips that were really cool that you would have in like sixth and seventh grade. Until like before that and after that. So Corona kind of ruined my time at the time thing. It was kind of like not really fun. It was like, as I said, isolation. So time went on. Corona calmed down, and we started going back to school. I think it was in eighth grade. Eighth grade, I wasn't good. Reason why was because of the whole big change. Because I didn't learn anything through online classes. They didn't help at all. So, I sucked at school. I sucked. I had to leave it up to my luck because I never raised myself to like study. Like I studied sometimes, but then I stopped at some point, just never studying for exams. So I sucked at school. I sucked at German. I sucked at any other thing. The only things I was good at, it was like anything that wasn't math, German, or science. Science, I sucked at science. So, after a while, I sucked at school, so I had to repeat eighth grade. When I repeated eighth grade, I lost a few friends that I had in that class. There was this one girl called Julia, which actually, if she ever sees it, of course, she's not gonna see this. Thank you, first of all. You actually helped me, a lot. I don't know how to explain this. You were kind of just a friend at the time when I didn't have anybody to hang out with. Now here's the reason why. She was really she was fucking cool as shit, right? She was like not emo but not goth. I don't even know what to call it. And I'm guessing she was kind of like the inspiration of my style of clothing. I wanted to wear black. I wanted to do all that stuff. So I started wearing, baggy stuff, not jeans, right? So I started wearing more cooler stuff. Started getting more into, styling my clothes, not just wearing a bunch of random shit in like later on. Not at the time when I met her. When I met her, I thought she didn't like me or she hated me. Then we became really good friends, and off her, I became friends with other two girls. At some point, there was drama between all of them. I don't know if they're still like bitching on each other, but I don't know. Probably not. But whatever. So Julia helped me a lot through those times. She was actually she was supportive. Let's just call it that. She was like a really good friend that you could go to and like be like, yo, bro, like, what's up? Like, you can talk to in break, because on breaks I would be alone, and most of the guys didn't like me there, besides this one guy, which was from my old school. But I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. So in that school, I didn't fit at all in. So her and I, which we were both kind of like outsiders because of our style, we would get called emo and stuff like that. Me because of my black hair, and her because of black. Her fucking natural hair wasn't black, but I don't know. But she would wear black stuff. I think she also wore like black lipstick, but I can't really fucking remember. She was also the weird girl in the class, like she was always out and stuff like that. I always wanted to talk to her because I felt like she was cool. Black people, black clothes are cool. That's what I felt, right? And she seemed cool as well. And I was always the guy, I kind of saw myself in other people. So she was kind of like the weird kid in our class, besides me. But I never dared myself to talk to her. So I kind of just never talked to her. Until one day, I talked to her through a friend, whatever. So we became a little friend group, blah, 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 there was drama between them, they kind of fought each other, so it was two girls against Julia, and another guy called Lucas, whatever. And in that class, I wasn't really much liked, either. Reason why, I don't really know. I wish I could tell you. I have suspicions, either I'm too hyperactive, too annoying, too loud, or I don't know, different. So, I don't know. Time went on, right? And I repeated class, so I had to repeat class in another class. I couldn't stay in the same class because they would go higher and I would stay its own. So, it's obvious. So I got in a new class, and I was like hoping for people to actually accept me in that class. They didn't. Bunch of losers, bunch of white boys, white girls, really, really shitty people. Besides a few friends that I made there, I think I'm still friends with two of them. The other girls that I was friends with in that class just ended up hating me. I had a crush on this one girl for like 2 days, until I found out she was a bitch. She started treating me like shit. She started like kind of like hating on me. She started like acting like, oh, I fucking hate you, like get the fuck away from me and shit like that whenever I would hang out with them in break. So I kind of just went to some guys, right? And I found out at some point that they actually all of them hated me. So I don't know, I distanced myself from them. When I finished 8th grade, I had to repeat again because I sucked. Again, sucked. And instead of making me repeat the class, they made me go into another school. They made me go into a lower level of that school, but in the next class. You know what I mean? It's complicated. German systems at school, shit like that is complicated over here. But basically, when I repeated first, 8th grade, we moved to this town where I live right now. And when I was in, I think, 8th grade still though, I dated this one girl out of pity online. This is where my whole online dating arc started. I dated this one girl called Mari. Terrible person. She was the most downright horniest, terrible. I don't even know how to explain it. She was terrible girlfriend, but I had to stay because I felt out of pity. Because at the time I was a people pleaser. I've tried not being that anymore. Tried, but it doesn't work sometimes. I kind of still feel like, oh, I'm sorry, and I kind of do things that I don't want for people, or I help people. I don't know. So at the time I was dating Mari. We broke up at some point as well. Um, During that, and then it was like a whole shit fest. It was my first relationship, so it ruined my whole perspective on love. A whole shit just went to shit. I had to fix it. I still fixing it till now because I still don't know what is right and what is wrong on relationships. I do, but not that stupid as I was back then. Um, so while I was like at the end of the 8th grade, I think I got with another girl. She was called Amanda. Amanda. She was her username on Discord was Rat. Fucking weird as shit. I got together with Amanda, and this was the worst thing ever. Cause I think prior to that, like 2 years before or 1 year before that, I had gotten a VR headset. I got a VR headset. I got into VR chat. So I started making friends on VR chat, which I don't regret, because some of my friends are in the chat right now, like right here. They're actually like the coolest people. They've always been around there. They've always helped me there. Whenever I need someone, they're always there. And especially, at the time also my best friend, Sino. Because I lost Milo in the, work. Because there was some drama between the girls and me. They kind of just became friends and left me. And that's where my whole attachment issues came in. I was left behind. As I said, I've never really seen myself as an important person. I've always been like expendable, let's just call it that. I'm kind of like a friend that you can keep for a while, and if you don't need me anymore, you can just throw me away without any oh, I feel bad for this guy, you shouldn't. And I'm not worth much as as I say usually. But after some time, right? On VR chat, I started making friends. I got on dating. I don't date on VR chat. Don't do that. If you're already doing it, hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, stop, because it's not gonna work out unless you live in the same country. Then yes. But if it's in another country, don't do it. Unless you have the money, the effort, and the time for it. But yeah. Anyways, so on VR chat, I dated 2 girls. It was Mari and it was Amanda, right? I dated those 2 girls on that because I met them on that, and after a while, of course I broke up with them. With one, I broke up and then got together again and broke up. Don't ever get with an ex together. I'm telling you this from experience. Don't ever get with someone together who is, gets off and on. Don't do that. It's the worst thing ever. So I learned my lesson, not getting back with an ex. Time went on, blah blah blah. And then I think while I was still at the same school. No, it was in summer break. In summer break between the 8th and the 9th grade, I met this girl, right? And she was... the reason why I'm talking about relationships is because they're a big impact on my whole mental state as well. Because I'll get there. So, I met this girl. She was the nicest. She was really cool. She was really funny, and she matched my energy. At the time, I already had made friends with 3 very important people in my life now. It was Sino, Kid, 4 people. Sino, Kid, Ace, and Gray. I wanna thank right now to you guys, because I mentioned you already, for being there and helping and always being there to support me while I'm on the worst fucking mental state. I don't regret meeting you guys. First of all, I don't regret meeting any of you all. At the time, I had a bigger group, which was a bunch of girls and guys and whatever. It was a Discord server we had a bunch of friends. It went to shit. It died, of course. It became a fucking graveyard. So nobody really chatted there because the main person that apparently was keeping the whole group together kind of just got a boyfriend. And everyone became uninterested because they were trying to flirt with her. It was a bunch of fucking losers. I'm just gonna say that. If anyone sees this from the group that doesn't talk to us anymore, you are a loser. Because you only stayed because of that girl. Anyways, as I was saying, I got with this girl. She was called Mars, right? I got together with this girl. It was great. I was actually, I felt like it was actually gonna work. I felt like for the first time, a relationship that is actually gonna work. I might stay together with her. I was fucking young. I'm stupid to think that, because younger couples just go to shit, first of all. I'm just saying that. Don't start dating at a young age. Because it never works out. It's not gonna work out. It's never gonna work out and never will work out unless you're like both mature enough, that it actually fits. Which I'm actually happy for some of y'all. I think one person in here is doing that actually. They're actually a young couple. I hope it goes well for you guys. Love you guys. I love you both. But for me especially, I'm saying it from my experience. Of course, there's people who've been with girls ever since they were like 16 or 15, whatever, right? Honestly, happy for them, to be honest. Like, that's like a big achievement when it comes to like relationships nowadays, because they're shit. They're either just based off TikTok or based off TikTok. I don't fucking know. But yeah, for the young couples that are still together and are holding up, I really hope the best for you both. Whether y'all are long distance, short distance, very long distance, or very short distance, or literally live next door, I hope it goes great for you guys. And I want to give advice, some advice at least, that I'm sure it's gonna help a lot, because I've noticed from my few years that I've been alive, I've noticed one key in relationships, stuff like that: communication and trust. Communication always, and I mean always, has to be number one thing in a relationship, and number two is always trust, or both actually on the same level, but you know what I mean. Communicate. If you don't guys communicate, it's just gonna go to shit. And if someone doesn't like something about the other person, but they don't tell them, they are gonna get tired of them. And the other person is not gonna be able to change because they don't know that they're doing this that's annoying them. So please, communicate. Anyways, as I was saying, this relationship with Mars was great. I was happy as shit. She was a little mean sometimes. I did tell her to, I don't like you being mean, stuff like that. She would say sometimes maybe I'm sorry, or she would just say she doesn't want to change. I don't like leaving people. I've never left a person. I've never broken up with a person. I've always gotten broken up with because I'm a loser. But I feel like rejection, you have to learn at some point, like to reject people, to say no to things, to do stuff that you don't like. You have to say no. Like, you have to learn how to say no. I learned that in the bad way. Still don't. I haven't learned it. So time went on, and her and I, we broke up. And it was like the first ever most devastating breakup in my life. I was devastated. I was sad because at the end of the day, we were just, I didn't want to be with her anymore. I just wanted to be friends with her. Because I gotten so attached to her and so good with her. We were together for 5 months, and that was enough for me to get attached. I have anxious attachment issues. I also have attachment issues and abandonment issues. So that really destroyed me mentally. It was at the time as well where in my school they asked me to do a praxis, which basically you would do a job for time without getting paid, but for school to write something about it on in school, right? I was at the time as well already in a new school, in my new town, which is right here. I'm still in that school, by the way, but I'm finishing the school this year. Um, so it was the summer break was happy, I guess. I mean, the first 2 months were like the summer break. Um, at first, before I got together with her, I kind of didn't think of the red flags. There were a lot of them. But yeah. Um, so, uh, while that was going on, I had a throat wound. This destroyed my mental health as well. Um, and on top of that, here comes another really sensitive part. Uh, I at the time I was doing substances, and it was I would do them while I wasn't home, or while I was in my house alone, or while I was in my room alone, and I knew no one was gonna enter. Um, so, but how I got these was one of my friends kind of just needed to get rid of them. They gave it to me. I didn't know what they were. I was curious. Don't be curious about pills that you don't find like safe or in a case. Um, I started taking them. It wasn't really many. I didn't even know what it was. Started taking it, and just ruined me. It basically ruined me. Killed my killed my neurons and then I feel like stupider now. Okay. So I had a throat wound and that. After I ran out of the pills, um, I didn't know where to buy them, so I kind of was forced to stop doing them. Um, I would sometimes find some in my room and then take them like a fucking rat. But I stopped, I stopped doing all that. Luckily, I didn't know what it was. I found out like lately what it was, but I'm not really in the need for them anymore. So I'm kind of like sober. So yeah, um, and on top of that time, I was also really another hard topic. I was really depressed, and I was going through a lot in my life at the moment. The breakup, that VR, other stuff. I already had the pills. I think I had the pills not at that time. Actually, no, the pills were when I was with Mari, which was the one, my first girlfriend, technically. Then I stopped taking them because I had to. I kind of ran out of them. I didn't have to take them anymore. And then afterwards, I had a throat wound as well while with Mari, right? And that lasted for a while. And it didn't go well, because I tried using that to end it. I would cough on purpose sometimes to make it bleed. I won't get too much in detail how I got the throat wound or why and when or why I didn't get it treated. Well, maybe I will tell about why I didn't get it treated. I'm deadly afraid of hospitals. I've never really liked hospitals and the concept of the people actually dying in those hospitals. I don't like that. It's always been really creepy and freaky to me. Um, so I've never really liked hospitals, and every time I go to a hospital, I just feel I become paranoid. And when I get paranoid, I see things, hear things, and feel things that are not even there. So hospitals are kind of like a ghost town for me. Um, then the same day that I tried with taking advantage of the throat wound, I stopped, and I won't get too much in detail what happened afterwards, but I got it cured. I got it cured. Um, I got it treated. Uh, I got a lot better. I was feeling a lot better as well. Um, but I started. The reason why I started feeling better was because I started shing. I Y'all will get it. If not, hopefully y'all haven't gone through that. But if you're going through that, there's like methods to kind of not do that. There's actually like a lot of methods that I tried, and most of them actually worked. So hopefully y'all find your own way of taking it. So I hope it goes well, and I hope you one day don't need those stuff. Um, there's also, I think, like hotlines for that stuff, or therapists. So if you're looking for help, you're not weak if you show weakness. You're not weak if you cry. You're not weak if you do any of that. It just makes you more human, you know? Because a lot of people take masculinity as like, oh, I don't cry. Fuck that. Who the fuck you think I am? Um, Sadly, I still have that mindset till this day, but I've been trying to get better. Got on therapists, I've gotten all of that. But yeah, basically. Um, so after the throne, blah blah blah, then my ex, then my other ex, Mars, when we broke up, blah blah blah. Um, then I was single for a few months. Um, and I met this girl. She was actually, it was funny as shit how we met. I'm not gonna get too detailed in though. But while that was happening, um, I was, hold on, I gotta check my notes because I keep forgetting this one part. Oh yeah, all right. Um, After Morse, and this is not sensitive for you guys, but for me it is. In the summer vacations, I think while Mars was around, or after Mars left me, I don't remember. Um, my best friend died. He passed away. He OD'd. Um, he had disappeared a few days before. Um, and then we were told about like, oh, we're sorry to inform you, but your friend blah 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 died and overdosed in the hospital. We're really sorry to inform you, blah blah blah. That destroyed me because it was the only person that I would always go to whenever I felt really shit, and he always knew how to help me. Um, I Sorry, hold on. I didn't. I was confused. I was lost. After he passed, I didn't know what to do. I adapting to not him being around was like a fuck fest. It was terrible. It was the worst time of my life. Like adapting without him, because I basically grew up with him. Like ever since I was like 11, 13, I was friends with him. We were like this fucking close. He would, every time I would feel bad, he would be like, yo man, just get on the game, we can talk about it while we play the game, right? He knew how to help me. I basically, the reason why I am like this is because he kind of raised me, like the reason why I care about people, stuff like that, all the good parts about me and some bad parts about me are from him. Like I basically am like a mini version of him. Um, I didn't know what to do. It was like losing. It was like losing a brother, should call it that, and I guess losing an actual brother would be worse. I hope I don't experience that, and I hope that my brothers. I hope I don't get to experience that because I'm the oldest one. So it would be great if my brothers buried me instead of me burying my brothers. So, um, but it was terrible. I was having a great time before that, and after that whole situation with Mars and my best friend Sino, my mental state went back down. I was constantly just in my room. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't hang out with people. I stopped playing VR chat for a while as well. Um, and kind of just started doing school stuff. I tried doing other stuff, and I went into a very deeper depression, and it wasn't really good, because I was really I, whenever a person's really depressed, they do things they wish they didn't, but they did. So relapsed into, self harm. I went into back into the whole. I basically went back to my bad depression. And after a while, it just kind of like it got better, not that better, but And then one of my really good friends, I actually made them become, a partner with someone else. Not my proudest ship, but so they got in a relationship, and I'd be really mad at them most of the time because they would hang out with them more than us, if anything. But I kind of like also understood it because when I was with relationships, I would always hang out with my partner more than them, my friends, and I it was egoistical. It was narcissistic from me, and I'm sorry. Um, and uh, I don't know. So my best friend passed away, right? I started trying to adapt. Didn't really go as planned. I had to learn my own ways of coping. Um, but I at some point found out. Um, After I think a few months, of my one friend, which actually he's on the chat. My friend being with that girl, I found my own girl. Um, she was called Ali, and I'm just gonna straight point it out there. She was out of all relationships, she was like the best relationship I've had out of all of them, and the most experience, like the most new experience filled one. I don't know how to pronounce that. Um, I had my first ever kiss because I've never been kissed. I'm a loser. Um, I was 17 or 16 at the time. I got together with her, blah blah blah, and my best friend got broken up with, and well, I got together with this girl, so. And my best friend now hates him. Like, this guy in the chat, I think he's like right there. This guy hates him. Her. He hates Ali, and I'll get to that in a minute. It was great for me. It was great. I was not happy, but I was I was happy with the bare minimum. I'm a person. I'm happy with the bare minimum. Uh, I spent a lot of money on her though, which not happy about it, but you know. So while of that relation when it was going on, I was losing touch with my best friend. Great. Um, Reason why is because she hated her, and my brain instantly made me hate him. So she hated Gray, and instantly I hated Gray. She was not on purpose trying to take me away from him. It was kind of like her saying that she hated him and me automatically thinking the same. It wasn't her purpose. She did say she didn't like him, but she wasn't saying that I should get rid of him, from what I know of. I don't remember. I can't really, uh, so, um, and at the end of the relationship, the reason why I broke up was my fault. It was all my fault. Um, as I said, I'm anxious attachment issues and I have attention abandonment issues. So when I feel like someone is changing a slight little bit of energy, I feel like they're gonna leave me. And for me, my honeymoon never goes away. Like my honeymoon phase is always there. Like you can stop being on your honeymoon phase, like be like, "Oh, I love you, baby," and typing in all caps, and then becoming like kind of like friends plus or whatever. Like your girlfriend basically at some point just becomes your best friend, right? That's from what I've heard, right? I don't accept that. I can't accept that. I don't know. It's just I can't stop acting lovey-dovey after I started acting lovey-dovey because I feel like I'm gonna make them feel like I'm gonna leave them, and I'm not. I didn't want to leave her. I really loved her, um, and I don't know if she's gonna see this or not, but I'm sorry for everything. I was paranoid. I didn't know what to do. So yeah. So yeah, back to the story. I'm really bad at apologizing. It's so bad when it comes to the camera. I've never done this before. So, anyways, um, so we broke up. I was paranoid. And I was when I get paranoid, I do things that are completely wrong, and I felt like she wanted to hurt me, and that she wanted to fix it, but she wanted to hurt me, and it felt manipulative. The whole thing felt manipulative. Um, it probably wasn't. It probably was. I don't know. So yeah, we broke up. Um, she came back and forth, you know, contact, no contact, contact, no contact, contact, no contact. So at that point, it felt like it was, manipulation, but I was happy somehow, some way. She was also my first ever experience IRL, so she will, even if she did bad or good things, she will always be, she will always have a spot in my heart, even though it didn't really work out. Um, so yeah, time goes on, we break up. I go back into my depression, obviously. Um, this time as well, though, I kind of became really depressed and suicidal. Um, and time goes on, blah blah blah, and I start getting into dating apps. I didn't know they're like friend app, whatever. I don't know. Um, so I obviously get this one match, and there's this girl. She's called Adelka. I was like, oh, she's pretty, but I don't know. I'll just be friends for her for a while. Um, so I became friends with her, and she lived at a dorm in the school days. So she would go to school and be at a dorm, blah, whatever. It's something like that in the Czech Republic. I don't know what class it is, or if it's just for some schools. But they had to go for school. They had to stay at a dorms. So at the dorms, she slept and was in the same room with two other girls, Emma and Lishka, or two other girls. I don't know. I'm not gonna say the whole full names for legal reasons because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, I kind of became friends with them. But I became really close to this one girl. She was called Emma. She was the Emma one. So we became friends, and we at some point got really attached and really flirtatious. Um, so I said, you know what? She lives a few hours away. I can give it a try. I said that I wouldn't do long distance anymore. That if anything, it would be somewhere in my town. So I said no more. But I made an exception for her because she lived like 4 or 5 hours away in like a bus that I could buy if I spared money enough. So we started dating. I wish I didn't. She lied to me ever since the start till the end. Every little story about her mental state was a lie, apparently. Her overdosing and going to the hospital was a lie. Basically, like, every second word was a lie. And even, like, her stories of what she did in the morning or what she did in the day were lies. Like, to me, it didn't make sense why you would lie about that. Just say, oh, like, why lie, you know? So, but I didn't know at the time. I always believed her. I was like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, or oh, okay, that's nice, you know. So time went on, and she started being really distant. I asked her why, and she didn't really tell me a specific answer. She would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I've been really busy with school, blah 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 blah. Right? All right. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we were one time in call, and you know, it kind of just got to the point where she told me that she still likes her ex. I love this shit because it's just completely bullshit. She used that either to leave me, because I told her, well, do you want to take a break and maybe see if you like her? Was the stupidest shit. Don't ever do that. Please, for the love of God, don't ever do that. If she likes her ex still, just leave her, bro. Or leave him. I don't care. Disappear. Just disappear, man. Alright, so, of course, I was upset. I was crying. I was in a mental state. And we took a break for like a week or two. Obviously, I was attached to her, so I was like constantly crying, constantly like, oh, she's not gonna come back, she's gonna leave forever, blah blah blah. As expected. And from one of her friends, I found out lies that she would tell me, and from there, everything just spread, right? Like, I got a little crack in the wall, and I started digging into it, and I opened a whole new door to the whole lies and truths about the things that she told me. So, you know, trust issues, you know, because once one thing becomes a lie, like once you lie, everything becomes a, maybe it wasn't like that, maybe it wasn't all like that, don't know. So, you know, I told her to break up. I didn't want to see her again. She was a terrible person. And her and Adelka, which was the other girl. The other girls I'm still friends with. They're actually really cool. So yeah. Then that happened. And yeah, the time went on. Summer was cool. And then the last few months, I've noticed that I'm just a floating friend. I go from friend group to friend group, from friend to friend. IRL. Online, I don't really know what I am. Just there, I guess. But IRL, kind of just a floating friend. I go from friend group to friend group, or not at all. And then I noticed that I always been a second option to some people. So yeah, that really destroyed me. But yeah. Reason now we're coming to today. Yesterday I turned 18. Big number, and the reason why I'm doing all this stream is to let people out there know the story of a random dude on the internet, first of all. And second of all, to see if, you know, to make people aware that a lot of people go through stuff like that and they're not alone. If you're seeing this and, you know, something kind of caught your attention, you felt like, oh, I went through the same thing, you're not alone, okay? Trust me, you're not alone. And the only tips that I can give you is seek help. Looking or asking for help is not you attention seeking. And if people do think that you're doing that, fuck them. You shouldn't care what people tell you. You aren't alone. I'm just saying that. Seeking for help is also not like it doesn't show you weakness. It doesn't looking for help, asking for help, reaching out to somebody is always better than taking out the rage quit way. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna say the other word because I think it's banned on YouTube. But reach out to people. You're not alone. You're not a nobody. You mean something to somebody. Always. You always mean something to somebody. Whether it's your parents, your siblings, or maybe your best friend, or some random girl that you probably met at some point and then kind of just became friends with them because you fell in front of them in front of the bus station or the train station. They recognized you at school and became friends with you. Even those people can be, the people that care for you. And one little fact, in case it does come to that, the moment you write a note before you, that shows that you still have reasons to stay. Every single one of those notes you made for individual person, those people, I feel like those should be the reasons why you should stay. Because, like Bob Ross said, and I'm going to make this quote really cool because I love Bob Ross. I also got to say, Bob Ross music and art has been a really big thing that has helped me through my parts, Like Bob Ross said once, though, there's always, and I mean always, has to be darkness for there to be light. I even made a painting behind there. That one right there. You can't always be happy, but you can't always be sad. You will never, ever be sad forever. If you don't do anything about it, though, you will always be that way. If you're constantly stuck in a loop and you can't break it, try. Trying is never gonna hurt you. Go do a hobby, get a hobby, go out with friends, call friends. If you don't have any friends, get a job, and at the job, maybe you'll make friends there, or do extra activities after school. There, you don't meet friends, just socialize. Socializing is a big thing that has helped me a lot. Whenever I can, of course. Even though I'm still a, social reject, I still try going out, hanging out with friends. And I also want to tell you guys that on the stream, right, this whole thing was because of mental health, so I'm gonna say it now. If you're suffering, if you're not doing well, if you're not mentally well, if you feel like you're stuck in a hole and you can't get out, if you feel any type of stuff like that, if you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, if you feel like nobody likes you, trust me, there's always someone there to agree to you, right? Because they're assholes. But don't let others bully the shit out of you, right? Kind of find your own way of dealing with bullying. First of all, that's the first tip I gotta give you. Find your own way to, how's it called? Find your own way to, fight it, to find a system. Maybe just agree to them. Be like, oh yeah, I'm so ugly. Stuff like that helps. Don't give them reactions either, by the way. Another thing that has helped me a lot is find a hobby. Even if you're bad at it. I used to be really shit at art. I used to draw really shitty. So please, find a hobby. Even activities after school, going to group meetings with a bunch of people like the same thing that you pay for. You're like, oh, here, I'll pay for this. I'll go to classes, for, I don't know, football clubs or basketball clubs. Do any sport. That helps you a lot. I sadly haven't been able to do this because of my hips, because I have a hip problem. But trust me, if I could, I would be doing a lot of things. But yeah. Another thing that I would tell you guys to do is seek for attention when help is needed. Seek for help whenever help is needed. You're not weak. You're not a pussy whenever you show emotions, whenever you show that you need help, that just shows that you're still human. Because sadly, not a lot of people are humans anymore. They will make people's life worse. So please, try, like, where the fuck is the camera? Okay. Why are my pants on the floor? Whatever. I'm not butt booty naked. I swear on my mama, I got pants right here, bro. But yeah, please. I've said this so many times already. You're not alone. You need help if you're suffering. If you're suffering alone, please don't stay silent and look out. And don't let others let you down, by the way. Don't let others bring you down. Don't listen to people that tell you, you know, if you like the style that you like, you know, if you like your own style, you shouldn't care what people think. You shouldn't care what people say about your looks, say about you. You are you and you can't really change that. Unless you want to change that, but then that wouldn't be you. That would just be a version that others want from you. And uniqueness is always a good thing. Being weird is a good thing. Being normal is boring towards some people, you know. Because what do you mean you don't watch YouTube horror stuff while you were younger? Like, what do you mean you didn't do this when you were younger? What do you mean you don't, I don't know, you don't like people? Like, it doesn't make sense in my head that people aren't weird. Like, weird is always a good thing. Depends on what type of weird. Exactly what Remo said. Be who you strive to be. Don't let others show you how you're supposed to be. Be yourself. Keep that in mind. Yeah. I'm trying to tell you guys, you know, this, but, you know. So yeah, please, you're not alone, and there's always someone out there that can help you, or professional. Professional help is always better than taking out the easy way. Because that shit is permanent. You know? You're like basically taking a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Because trust me, it gets better. It gets better. So yeah. I hope everyone who's watching right now, or who watches this after it's, you know, streamed and you're kind of like going back into the streams or stuff like that, I hope that you find your own way of being yourself, and you find your own people, your own friends, and that you find, you know, happiness in whatever you're doing, right? You know, job, hobby, stuff like that. And I really hope that everyone in here does well. I hope everything, you know, maybe this might not help you, maybe this might not interest you, but I hope that you guys, right, you guys watching, I hope that you guys have a great life, okay? And trust me, it does get better. It really does get better. Don't do what you think you're doing. Like, don't do what you think is best to do, because I know what it is when someone is depressed and it's not taking it out the easy way. Because therapists, trust me, I'm taking a therapist, it helps a lot. I don't know how to end this. I'm just trying to tell you guys that you should seek for help and stuff like that, so whatever. Now, the whole reason for this whole stream was mental health. So, I'm gonna mention the people that have helped me through my mental health, my bad mental health, and the people that I've kind of like, you know, lost. And then I'll say something else. But first I want to thank Gray. Thank you, Gray, first of all. You've been always there for me. You've always helped me. Whether you're going through your own stuff, you would always, you know, go for me. and I really want to thank you for that. Kid, if you're still watching, I don't know if you fell asleep again. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Um, I fucking love you guys, Loki. Ace, you're not much around, and I don't really know you much, but you've always kind of made like, you've always put something on the table, and it's always either funny, rage bait, or Somalian pirates. I also want to thank Media for always being there through the breakups and always being there and making time for me, even when it was 20 at night or 21 at night. I want to thank you. And thank you for, also, still being friends with me, because I don't even know how you keep up with me, but whatever. And thank you to my brothers, because they're cool. And also, thank you, Rainbow, for always also being there, and also being a friend of mine. Kind of just always, helping me at the times as well, and yeah. Another big thank you, which is also an honorable thank you. Um, he won't see this because sadly he's not here with us anymore. But thank you, Sino, for everything. You were a great person. You were honestly the best friend I had, and I really hope that wherever you are up there, you're doing great. I miss you, brother. I miss you a lot. A big part of my life has been, around you, and you suddenly not being there is kind of just weird. So, yeah. Cut your pictures. And I also want to thank in general everyone who's stuck beside me every time while I've been in like really bad times. Y'all low-key mean a lot to me. And especially the ones who stuck next to me and always supported me on everything. I'm really glad that y'all are around, and I'm really glad that y'all were around at the time, because I don't know what I would have done without you guys. Now we got a little sentimental. We're gonna get to the other part. I'm gonna be doing a stream also not just for other people but for me as well, to kind of keep my what's it called, like my goals intact. My goal, because I turned 18, I can move out now, I can start getting a job, I can start making money, big money, I can I can do a lot of things. My goal for this year though is to get a job, not this year but for the next few years after 18, is to get a job, also get like a caravan, like the rolling house, the houses that are like car houses, I want one of those. I want to travel through the world, and while I work I want to have like either an own company, or I want to make a series about my character, this guy right here. He's called Kier. Check it out. I want to make a series. I also in the future want to get better at my mental state, first of all, as well. I hope to finish this school, and I hope to I hope for every one of you as well. I'm gonna hope for you guys as well. I hope for every one of y'all to find your place on this earth. Hope you find the right people and stuff like that. I don't know how to end this. I'm low-key just... I thank you guys for even sticking around, if you guys even stuck around. I also hope that I get, stable in life. Um, and I hope that every one of you guys has a great life. Um, I'll probably be posting again. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave YouTube or anything. I'll just keep this. But I hope you guys, you know, at least took some info off this. Kind of helped. And um, but yeah, hold on, I actually gotta fix this. Yeah. Um, no, my brother came in. Fucking dumbass. Told him not to. Um, I was gonna say something else. Now, oh, you fucking sidetracked me. Oh yeah, I will probably be uploading more. The whole reason for this is to like make people known that they're not alone. There are people out there who go through the same stuff, and they're not just them. Because a lot of people kind of get hurt by that. Um, I'm gonna do a Q&A soon. Oh yeah, someone said that on it. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably do a Q&A sometime in the future, but not at the time. I'm not even planning on becoming a big YouTuber. It's just a hobby. It's just a hobby. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great life. I'm gonna be uploading again. Probably gonna do a video soon on Breachers, or on something else, or maybe a stream again. Who knows? Y'all find out. Y'all will find out. Y'all get something. So yeah, I hope y'all had some info or took some info to yourself new that wasn't just already old. I hope y'all get the chance to find your own ways for new stuff or stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I really really hope that this somehow helped some people. It's the 22nd of the 5th, 2025. And